Back in 1958, the average lifespan of a company on the S&P 500 was 61 years. Today, that number has plummeted to under 18 years. It's wild, right? Welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're joining me today because we are going to decode what is undeniably the ultimate business capability for the future. We're going to break down exactly why adaptability is the absolute core of preparing your company for the coming decades and how you can actually master it.
Change is no longer an occasional event. Just let that sink in for a second. Because honestly, a lot of us still act like it is. We tend to treat disruption like a passing storm, you know? We hunker down, try to weather a turbulent quarter, and just wait for things to go back to normal. But think about the reality of doing business today. There is no normal to return to. I mean, we literally just watched generative AI fundamentally alter entire industries almost overnight. Global supply chains can be totally rewritten in a single week due to geopolitical shifts. Customer expectations, they're evolving way faster than our product development cycles. Change is just a constant, permanent state of flux that we all have to operate within.
So, why has adaptability become our biggest competitive advantage? The simple truth here is that relying on static strategies is basically a recipe for obsolescence. Think about that classic, rigid 5-year strategic plan. You spend months drafting the thing, getting executive buy-in, rolling it out. But in today's landscape, the market realities that existed when you wrote that plan might be entirely unrecognizable just 6 months later. If your business is locked into a rigid path, you're going to shatter when you hit a roadblock. The businesses that actually cultivate adaptability as a core muscle, those are the ones that consistently outmaneuver and outperform the folks who stubbornly resist change.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our agenda for today. First, the new business reality. 2, the anatomy of adaptability. 3, AI and agile leadership. 4, the short-term trap. And finally, where to begin today. Let's get started.
Section 1. The new business reality, the accelerated pace of change.
The old way of doing business basically meant acting like a massive, heavily armored cruise ship. You plotted a course across the ocean, set the autopilot, and just moved steadily ahead. It was safe, it was predictable, and it was virtually impossible to turn quickly. But the new necessity is all about dynamic adjustments. Instead of one massive cruise ship, your organization needs to operate like a synchronized fleet of speedboats. You absolutely must have the agility to pivot instantly, dodge sudden obstacles, and capitalize on fleeting opportunities without losing your forward momentum. It's all about building a system that actually embraces the unexpected rather than being derailed by it.
Moving on to Section 2, the anatomy of adaptability, deconstructing the abstract.
A lot of people treat adaptability like it's just some corporate buzzword or maybe a lucky personality trait of a few rock star CEOs. But we need to deconstruct that. So the crucial point is understanding that adaptability is a highly tangible capability built on 5 intentional pillars. First is clear operational visibility. This means actually knowing what's happening on your front lines in real time, not waiting for some quarterly report to realize your inventory is totally backed up. Second, flexible systems. Look, if shifting to a new supplier takes your IT department 6 months of reprogramming, you're unflexible. You need modular, cloud-based infrastructure. Third is strong leadership, the kind that empowers local decision-making instead of micromanaging from the top down. Fourth, efficient communication that cuts right through department silos, so sales, marketing, and engineering actually, talk to each other. And fifth, continuous improvement processes, where small, iterative tweaks are just baked right into the daily routine. When you build these 5 pillars into your DNA, you stop reacting out of panic and you start responding with precision.
All right, Section 3. AI and agile leadership, the dual engines.
So, how do we actually power those pillars? Well, the secret lies in the synthesis of artificial intelligence and human leadership. Imagine a massive global supply chain disruption hits on a Tuesday morning. AI provides the operational visibility and responsiveness to process millions of data points instantly. It flags the bottleneck, reroutes logistics, and streamlines the technical processes way faster than a human ever could. But AI doesn't understand your company morale. It can't look a panicked team in the eye and reassure them. It can't foster a culture where employees actually feel safe innovating a new workaround. That is exactly where human leadership steps in, to create a culture of continuous learning and psychological safety. AI gives you the raw speed and data to understand the pivot. Human leadership provides the vision and cultural support to actually execute it without breaking the spirit of your team. You absolutely need both.
AI supports agility without creating chaos. We all know that collective groan that echoes through an office when leadership announces they're rolling out a new software system, right? It usually means months of headaches, broken workflows, and just utter confusion. But when AI is integrated correctly as a core business engine, it does the exact opposite.
It cuts right through the noise. It automates the incredibly tedious manual data entry that slows your team down. It surfaces the most critical insights right to the top of your dashboard. Properly leveraged, AI acts as a clarifying force. It allows your people to focus on high-level, creative problem-solving rather than drowning in administrative chaos.
Section 4. The short-term trap. This is your biggest vulnerability. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing exactly why so many exceptionally smart executives fall right into this trap. There is this intense, relentless pressure from Wall Street, boards, and shareholders to maximize quarterly profits. So, companies optimize purely for short-term efficiency. They streamline their supply chains to run exactly on time with zero buffer. They eliminate every single redundancy. They trim so much fat to hit their margins that they accidentally slice right into the muscle. And when a sudden shock hits the system, they are highly vulnerable to catastrophic disruption because they have absolutely no slack. Long-term flexibility requires a totally different mindset. It means deliberately maintaining a bit of strategic buffer. It means cross-training your employees, diversifying your suppliers, and actually investing in R&D even when it hurts this quarter's margins. You have to balance today's performance with tomorrow's survival.
And finally, Section 5. Where to begin today? Diagnosing your organization.
Let's bring all these abstract concepts directly to your doorstep. Think about this. If a massive new competitor launches a disruptive AI tool tomorrow, or your primary international supplier completely shuts down, how quickly can your organization fundamentally alter its workflows? Do you measure your pivot time in days, or does it take months of committee meetings, budget approvals, and executive sign-offs just to change a single operational procedure?
Next question. Where do bottlenecks occur in your daily operations? Listen, every single organization has them. Are your delays consistently caused by archaic legacy software that just refuses to integrate with new tools? Or is it a rigid corporate hierarchy where a mid-level manager needs 5 separate levels of signature approval just to authorize a minor expense? You have to identify the exact friction points that kill your momentum.
How visible are your operations? Imagine driving down a busy, totally unpredictable highway at 80 miles an hour, but your GPS is only giving you directions based on traffic data from a month ago. That is exactly what running a business on lagging metrics feels like. Does your leadership have real-time, AI-driven dashboards to make informed pivots? Or are you essentially flying blind the moment a disruption hits?
And lastly, how effectively do your teams communicate when the pressure is really on? When executive leadership decides to pivot the company's strategy, does that message cascade down to the front lines clearly, or does it get completely distorted and lost in middle management silos? These 4 questions aren't just some interesting thought exercise for you today. They are the exact blueprint and agenda you need to bring to your very next executive meeting.
To truly build for long-term success, you must recognize that adaptability is no longer an optional luxury or some secondary initiative. It is the core competency of the 21st century. By demanding operational flexibility, fostering strong leadership that embraces change, insisting on crystal-clear data visibility, and building an environment of continuous improvement, you aren't just reacting to the market anymore. You are forging an impenetrable shield against disruption. You are turning the ability to change into a deeply ingrained muscle memory.
The future belongs to businesses that evolve consistently and fearlessly. So the question is your organization ready? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time.